It's a Uniqlo heat tech and I'm roasting in it. Trousers. These are the ones I repaired in my Sashiko video. Hair clip. 100 yen shop. Earrings. I think I got these off Wish. My flip-flops. Pound shop. My socks. Primark. I'm a low budget bitch. This is the 6th of September 2021 and this is Lay of the Land, my monthly or so gardening vlog where I update you as to what's going on in my green space and in my life. Let's get started. As always, we are drifting into the greenhouse and my mulberry tree here is still doing fine. I am going to plant that out eventually, I promise. The pansies are pretty much all gone, they were all slugged. There's one tiny one left there. And in the greenhouse, well, I think our Japanese cucumbers have come to an end. I'm letting some go massive because I really want to save the seeds. Let me just drag that out for you to see. That's huge. Big boy. I'm growing at a right angle. I've got a few in here that I still plan to eat. They're great with a vinegar dressing or a mirin and soy sauce dressing. That one's going to be great to eat. I'm probably going to eat that this afternoon. And I've got some tomatoes going on in here too. It's a bit of a tomato jungle. I need to pinch out the tops. I put in some strings to support them. So these strings have been keeping them upright. And you can see the fruits coming through. I don't have any that are ripe yet, but I'm hoping that they will ripen soon. This is actually the first sunny day we've had in ages. So hopefully it's going to help some of these turn red for me. Up here, I've got a mango tree that I grew from a pip. I decided to put it in the greenhouse so it could get a really good dose of sunshine. And unfortunately, I don't have any winter seeds. I haven't started doing any winter seeding. I'm a little behind with everything, really, but that's just how it is sometimes. On the exterior seed bench, I still have my apple pip seedlings. They could probably do with the water, actually, because it's been quite dry lately. Along with some rosemary cuttings. I am going to take some more rosemary cuttings soon because it's actually the best time of year to do it. I did those at a bad time of year. What's she got in the pot? What's she got in the pot? What's she got in the pot? What's in the pot? What's in the pot? What's that? Seeds? Are you giving them to my chickens?
Yes.
Okay, are they old?
Yes. That's their best before.
Poisoning the livestock. In the geranium pot here, this lobelia has done so well, this trailing lobelia. It's really gorgeous. It's still putting out a nice hit of colour, so I'm really happy with how that's done. That was a great little buy. She loves the chickens. You know, when I first moved back with the chicken, my mum was all like, I don't like chickens. Chickens are creepy. Chickens are weird. And now, every day, she's in love with the chickens. So it's worked out really well, really. Down here in the pots by the back door, our succulents are doing okay. These are sempervivums. This clematis is invading. We have had a bit of squirrel digging though. That's just typical. This rose and this lobelia are not doing so well. This pot really doesn't hold on to moisture well. I'm not sure why that one's so particularly bad. And the border here is getting a bit lost again, but it's okay. I've noticed some nasturtiums springing up lately. I don't know when they got here. There's one little pansy that survived transplant from the pots outside the greenhouse. Then the beautiful bright pelargonium geraniums, purple hebe, osteospermum. It's doing okay here. All the toad flax is starting to set seeds, so I need to pull that up. And we did have a big, beautiful gladioli, but that's gone now. I might deadhead that and see if it goes again. And I've just spotted the garden panther sunbathing outside for the first time in ages because it's finally sunbathing weather. The poppies have all gone over now, but it doesn't matter. I've been able to collect the seeds, so that's going to be part of my seed swap for this year. And over here, this is doing fantastically. We're not sure what it is. My mum keeps saying it's a cotoneaster, but she's not entirely sure. But these berries will feed the birds, so that's great. And there's a tiny little patch of roses over there just hiding. She says they lie in wait so that they can prick you in the arm when you're weeding. Sounds about right for this garden. Here in the quadrangle, some disasters really. The tomatoes all got affected by what I presume is tomato blight. I've never had it before, so I'm not 100% sure, but they all went black and nasty, and it looks like it's spread to the potatoes too. I'll get a close-up over there in a second. The beans that I had in here got slugged. We do have a tiny patch of, I believe this is sweet basil here, so hopefully that's going to survive. And here again, I was letting my lettuces go to seed, but it looks like the seed heads have all been taken anyway, so I need to clear this out. This is all pretty much a disaster of my own making. I haven't been putting the time in, but the weather's been terrible. I've been a little bit busy picking up extra work here and there. It happens. The mint down here is doing wonderfully. I love these purple spikes that it puts out on flowers, and that's going to spread around and create a fragrant carpet around the beds. So I'm not too worried about that. We can have fresh mint tea all next summer. Lobelia and sage up in this pot doing well. I just have to keep remembering to pull the ivy off occasionally so it doesn't get overwhelmed, but I love the hit of colour that provides. And these chives as well have done really well in this little slim planter. So I'm very happy with that. Look, here's some of the wildlife causing problems. And the parsnips, I think I'm going to start harvesting some soon to see how they're doing, because I don't want them to get too woody. But I did want to save some until Christmas. They say that they taste better after a frost, and that would be great to try out. So here are my potatoes. You can see a bit of browning on the leaves, on the stems. They are starting to flower, and they say that you can harvest potatoes from as soon as they start flowering. If it is blight, I think we'll find out when we dig up the tubers. They'll smell sweet and sickly and come open strangely and just not look like they should as potatoes. Down here, one disaster. I had a beautiful sunflower here and it just snapped off. I hadn't tied it up enough on this support. That's been a big problem this year, me not giving my plants enough support, so I need to be on top of that next season. And down here, only a couple of things have survived in this slug-strewn landscape. Here, my globe artichoke hopefully is going to recover enough to survive the winter. And its sibling is just there. So they might survive, hopefully. And I've got some nigella down here. You can see the beautiful seed pods. So that's good at least. I've been able to produce some nigella seeds, so I'll collect that for next year as well. The squash, unfortunately, was slugged beyond repair. That's not been going anywhere. And all of the other things I had in here, fennel and sunflowers and whatever, no, not a chance. Over here, this squash has done really well in terms of foliage, but very badly in terms of fruiting. I've got one fruit here, so I'm just gonna let that go for as long as it can. It's starting to firm up nicely. The beans have done pretty well. I've got loads of pods come through. I don't really like eating beans in the pod, but I will save the beans again for planting next year, and because I like eating beans as beans. Again, up against the shed, the beans have done pretty well, although not all of them took. So you can see two gaps here. There should be a bean there and a bean there. And instead we have weeds. Again, this is all on me, guys. Not keeping up with things, but it happens. And slugs killed all of my spring onions down here. This is a globe courgette that I have just decided to let get completely out of control. I don't think it's going to be very flavourful, but I'm just enjoying seeing how large it can get, and why not, you know? Just have fun with these things. Over in this section next to the shed, there's one huge change. My neighbours are building a castle. Luckily, it's to the north of us, so it's not going to be obstructing any light. And it will be rendered, so it won't be this huge grey block like this. We're going to ask if I can paint a mural on the side so that I can at least decorate it and we see from our side a nice mural. It's one of the things about living in suburbia. You don't control who's around you and what they do with their land. But people would say the same about ours, you know. People would look at my garden and go, well, that's not fair on your neighbours. You have chickens who are noisy, you have compost heaps which are stinky, you have weeds which are invasive. Having neighbours is about live and let live. And yeah, we got to let this in space in front of the fence on our side. Obviously, I do want to create a structure of our own. I want to do a sort of woodland cottage made with natural wood and natural materials and a green roof, and have it so it's got a couple of benches in there and maybe a wood burner, just as an extra sort of guest space, chill out space, you know, just cool zone in the garden. And that will hopefully use up some of this natural wood. All of this is going to get cleared eventually. Eventually, my favourite word. Down on this side you can see all the willow logs that we got from next door, cutting down the willow ahead of them building that building. And I'm going to split some of these up for firewood. You can see they're starting to crack already. Willow holds a lot of moisture, so you do need to let it mature for quite a long time before it's suitable for burning. Heading down this way into this end of the garden, you can see a cool little bounty that we've got going on here. These are chipboard and plywood panels. Our roof was redone recently, our back extension roof, and these were the old roof. So I'm hoping to use these for building some more structures for the chickens and for the little house that I want to build in the garden. So it's great to be able to reuse things. That black polythene was used to protect the roof as well, so that may become the waterproof membrane under the green roof on my new project. I scored another big pallet from the same roof work as well, which is great. Around here I've just been trying to keep on top of the weeds, ripping out big chunks of bindweed, putting them in the green bin, and just staying on top of things. I do still want to build a pond probably in this area. These here are irises, which are water-loving plants, so it would be nice to have them at the edge of a pond space that's then welcoming in. And I don't know why these people are honking their horn. What are they honking their horn at? Tell me. It's a beautiful sunny Monday afternoon and all I can hear is beep, beep. So these are water loving. I'd love to do a pond alongside of it. That's going to bring in beneficial amphibians, keeping the toad and frog population high, which should help with slugs in the garden. In terms of weed control, what I'm trying to do at this time of year is just knock things back and put cardboard down in their place. The hope is that next season that will mean that there's weaker weeds there's less going on. I can scrape the roots back. I can just build up from this cardboard. It's not perfect and it's very hard to do with these perennial weeds. This geranium, for example, makes these really thick corms. You can see a chunk here. And they're incredibly hard to mulch over. And the same's true of bramble roots and of bindweed as well. It's very difficult to use these permaculture techniques. But, well, what can you do? I've got to try and get things under control somehow. And this way doesn't damage the soil layers as much as digging. I've just noticed here that there seems to be a lot of damage on my gooseberries. I hadn't noticed that before. They've been stripped down. The leaves have been stripped down. So I'm wondering what that could be. Maybe gooseberry sawfly. Don't know. I've just seen a weird bug land on it there. Oh, I need to do some research on this. This is the first time I've noticed this. On a better note, there's still some beans doing great against that fence there. So that's happy news. And one big success story here. My corn patch. We've already had, I think, 3 cobs off them. And there's more to come. You can see these big, lovely, juicy ears of corn. When the tassel turns fully brown, it's good to go. So there's quite a few here that are pretty much good to go. They haven't all pollinated 100%, but that's fine. It's the side effect of bad weather, and in the case of the ones on this side that are a bit far apart, poor spacing. You need your corn really close together so that it can wind pollinate, and that pollen can fall down from this up here to the tassel below, which catches it and pollinates the ear. The chickens seem very happy. They've got good space at the moment. I want to try and green up this area a bit more for them. Maybe get some ryegrass going or some other green manures, maybe some clover, so they're getting a good amount of protein from the land. But they're doing well, they're giving us lots of eggs and helping keep the weeds down. So I guess I need to move them over here because again, it's just gone crazy. One more success story is my autumn raspberries. Here we have them in a line. You can see a good clump of them there. That's one that I picked and ate earlier. And this one is good to go. They're beautiful, they taste amazing. I'm so glad that at least some of these canes survived. Again, I need to work on support for them so that they can stay nice and upright and keeping the bindweed off them so they're not being dragged down. In this section here with my little willow trellis, which is again getting, it's hard to tell where the beans end and the bindweed begins, but I promise you there are beans here. You can see some of their flowers in there as well, the little white slipper shapes. This ash tree all has to go. I thought I could manage it in conjunction with the space, but it takes too much water and it takes too much light. And I may also be chopping down the mother tree in the corner, or at least chopping down part of it to make supports for the house structure that I want to build. Up here, very thick weeds. No signs of the onions, they're gone. They might come back next year, they might just grow from what's been left, but they're not here right now. This geranium is just, undefeatable. So you have to kind of learn to work with it. I have got a squash in here and I can see actually a courgette off it. Let me try and get in there. Yeah, there's one down there that's been pollinated, so that's great. So that one I'm not going to leave to get massive. I am being stung on the arm by a stinging nettle right now, so that was a terrible idea. Ow. And yeah, I suppose one of the good things about bad weather is that there haven't been that many caterpillar attacks on my kale. Just a few here and there. It could have been much worse. Oh my god, they're all coming out now actually. I've cursed myself by saying that there haven't been many, but I guess yesterday was dry and today was dry. So now we're having a caterpillar baby boom. So I'll have to come back in a bit and do a thorough scrape on these. But this kale should see us through the winter. The apple trees have done great for their first year, but I need to get down here and just work on detangling all of this bindweed. This can't be here. It's going to choke out the tree and stunt its growth, so I need to get on that really and carefully unwind these. It's happening on that one over there as well. Oh, I hate bindweed so much. It's such a pain. It's so difficult to get rid of. Lastly, one big change is this new chicken enclosure, the chicken bedroom I call it, because it's where we put them at night. It's made it so it's much easier for me to catch a certain young lady who's down there. Gimpina, yes, I'm talking about you. They're much easier to corner in here, as bad as it sounds. So it means that I can give them a bit more personal time, get a good look at them, socialise them a bit more. They seem very happy with it. I'm going to further extend things in here and build them some actual perches to sleep on so they're not sleeping in the nest boxes, which will reduce soiling on the eggs. So that's it really. Me, same old, working weekends. I had a weekend off recently, so I decided to go and work at Reading Festival. I did a whole week of 12-hour night shifts, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m, looking after drunk teenagers and all the rest, which was full on but very empowering. I'm still looking for other work. I also want to do some other things this month. I'm really hoping to sort out a space in Slough where I can do a pop-up art gallery with some of my artist friends from London. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. I'm also sticking with my skateboarding, which is good. I can cruise now without falling off, so that's excellent. Bit worried about winter coming because winter totally fucks with my mental health. But, you know, that's life, and it's something I have to learn to deal with. And yeah, I have a support system at least, and at least I'm going to have somewhere warm to live in winter again, which is good. I hope you lot are all doing really well. Thank you so much everyone who watches my videos. I love reading your comments and everything, and it's great to know there's people out there who care about my little patch of the world as much as I do, even if it is a very small audience. Yeah, the garden's not great, but it's getting there, and I'm glad to share it all with you. So take care. Bye bye.